are running with the Devils, and we're back talking everything Arizona State football. You are running with the Devils. I'm the RyKno, Ryan Knowles. Here with me as always, my partner in crime, Big John Caldwell. And Big John, it was a different sensation getting up that early to check out a football game on a Saturday. It's been a while since we've done that, but the Devils get it done. It was a little exciting there towards the end, but they do come away with a victory over the West Virginia Mountaineers in Tempe this past Saturday. Welcome to our victory show. Going to be talking everything Arizona State football here, as we do every week on RWD. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you like us, please hit the like and subscribe button below. We love hearing from you guys in the comments section. This is us. This is us. We love talking everything Arizona State football, and we've been doing it for you all season long, and we're hoping to do it a little bit more here coming up in the next few weeks with some big games coming up, and it starts this weekend. Devils are still in the Big 12 championship game hunt, Big John. They're not done yet. They are not done yet. No. And they're, they got some things got to fall their way. But hey, they had to last year too. They weren't in control of their own destiny last year either. Yep. So hopefully, this weekend we'll see some positive results for our Sun Devils. And we'll be talking, of course, about that big win over West Virginia. Some big first half plays from Jeff Sims and company were the key as they go on to win. They're moving to 7-3 on the season, and Big 12 championship game is still in play. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. And some big news coming out of ASU this week. Just rumors right now, nothing real firm, but is Sam Levitt transferring? Could he put his name in the portal and test the waters to try and cash in from a bigger conference, a bigger school? We'll look into that a little bit and talk about that. And then, of course, Devils this weekend traveling up to Boulder, Colorado to face Deion and his Buffaloes. We'll get into that game. Of course, can't take any team lightly, especially right now when you're in a championship game hunt. This game was no different as Devils come out of Tempe with a win over West Virginia 25-23. Some very good positives to take away from this game. Season low, 5 penalties for 31 yards. That was very, very big. Yeah, we were very excited about that. Not beating ourselves for once. That was huge. 22 points in the second quarter ultimately was the difference. Three Jeff Sims touchdown passes. Who had that? ASU continued to control the clock, 32 minutes, 332 yards, and the offensive line definitely came to play. I think that the shuffling that they've done, moving in true freshman Maki Stewart, rotating, moving Poulet over to guard. Yeah, Wade Helton snaps haven't been the best, but he's making all the right calls, it seems like. So, I think that offensive line is starting to come together a little bit. Here Big John, it's always good to get a win, especially over a former rival coach there at home. So
he's still using that darn punt flag, man. I think that's the secret weapon we got.
Yeah, but he changed it. It's not the same color anymore. No. It's gold now.
It's gold, and then he's got a blue one that says block.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I kept seeing the guy. They were on defense, and the kid was waving it. They were on offense, on defense, and he was showing block. I think they gave some guy a job. I think is what happened. It was pretty weird, but
all right. Well, hey, stick him in color guard then.
Yeah, it was. I got to tell you that Sims still keeps impressing me at the way he's just came to play, how the team responds to him. That pass he threw to Subio was behind him, but he still managed to make it. Still was close enough for him to make a play out of. But the touchdown to Mateo was a beautiful ball. I mean, Jeff is really, I can tell you, just if he keeps improving at this rate, I think someone's going to bring him in as a he's going to get drafted. Probably get a free. I don't know about drafted, but he'll get into it. I was going to say, I think he gets a free agent contract into a camp. And like I said last week, because he's so versatile, running quarterback, tight end, special teams. He saves you a lot of roster spots for general managers who are looking to economize.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up that Mateer touchdown, because that play call really impressed me.
It was a beautiful play.
Hold the rush. It was just it's a simple play. That's a very simple run pass option, kind of stalwart of just a little dump off to the tight end that just about every team runs. But when it's run right, and you pick your spot with it, it's extremely effective. And that's why I thought the play call on that was excellent. I think that's one of the things that's been helpful in Jeff Sims' success is they're playing to his strengths. They're not trying to treat him like Sam Levitt. They've adjusted the play call. They've adjusted the game plan quite a bit around him, and that's why he's had the success that he's had. Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week for the second time in as many games that he's played. So that he started.
Weren't you impressed with how well Sims stood in that pocket and step up and just and did not panic? He's a cool
his pocket presence is certainly there's been times when he hasn't made the best decisions. That's been well documented, but when he gets time in the pocket, he's not having to run for his life, and his receivers can work their way open. He can. I mean, he threw a lot of balls behind receivers. That's there's not going to be debated, but some passes were really on target, and he hit some guys for some big gainers. I would have liked to seen him hook up with Malik McClain a couple times. McClain had that one drop, and then there was another time when he overthrew Malik on a play where Malik had a couple steps on the defender. Could have been a couple touchdowns right there. I mean, I hate to nitpick on stuff like this. I mean, but it was a narrow victory. It was against a team that had not had a lot of success. They were getting right at the right time. They were still playing for something to try to get into a bowl game. With this loss, West Virginia, by the way, eliminated from bowl contention. And
what did you make? What did you make of the third and 27 on defense?
Oh, I was. Oh God, I was hating it when you were going to bring that up, because that was very,
was not in your notes.
Very frustrating. I mean, just then if you watch it I watched the replay after that, and man, guys were taking some terrible lines.
Oh, the angles.
They were it was like they were going where he was, not where he was going to be. And Sincere Bowers, certainly above average speed, very, very fast player, but you got to be able to cut off a guy better than that. You've been playing this game long enough. You got to be able to recognize where a guy is going to be.
Three of them guys over pursued.
And then you had a blocker take out two guys. It's just that's something. That's some Pop Warner stuff right there. That should not happen on a simple screen pass. They're basically giving up the drive at that point. They're just trying to give their punter some extra room so that he's not punting out of the back of his end zone. And he takes it 90 yards to the house. You let that happen. I mean, for ASU's defense, they haven't been spectacular at times. They've certainly been very, very good. They haven't given up a ton of big plays. They haven't given up a ton of long touchdown plays. They gave up 2 in this game. And that's a big problem. Well, I think part of that's the play calling on that 75-yard touchdown pass. They didn't have the right guys in the right way. Boogie was late coming over to cover. There were a couple of defensive breakdowns that led to some big plays for West Virginia.
The third and 27 touchdown was probably the second worst play of the year, and the first would have been the Mississippi State over the top Hail Mary.
Of course.
Well, that's a game that haunts you because you had the game won, and they haven't given up a ton of big plays like that since. I know.
That was a good learning experience, if nothing else.
Well, just think, had you where we would be with only 2 losses and having beat that team, our strength of schedule, everything would have. The whole thing changes for ASU had you won that game.
Well, I think even if you don't win that game, I think even if you win, the Houston game is the one that's going to stick with me, frankly, because that team's having a good year, but I don't think they were better than us is the thing, and that's the game I think it's going to kind of stick with me.
Well, then you got out.
Non-conference doesn't really matter as much, except in the rankings.
Yeah,
Which we didn't mention this. ASU is ranked 25th in the college football playoff poll, by the
which is
way.
the only poll that matters, folks. By
Yes,
the way,
damn right.
Sorry, all the rest of them just sell newspapers, really.
Exactly.
But yeah, but the neat thing is we're there,
Mm-hmm.
and you look among who's close to us, and with 2 more wins, out of all the teams that are playing, there's a million combinations of things that can happen still, in terms of where you finish. But I think the key is, as we talked about, was if finishing second in this conference gets you to the playoff, to the championship,
Well,
and
yeah, the championship game and a chance at the playoff. I mean, that's all
well,
you really look for at this time.
and to me, if it's Texas Tech, I think we would love the opportunity to play those guys again. I'm sure they would love to play. It'd be even a better game. But you give us 2 weeks to prepare for those guys, it's going to be like Iowa State. You give Arroyo 2 weeks to scheme on anybody.
No, we only get 1 week. We only get
Really?
because the U of A game's Friday the 28th, and then the championship game's the 6th.
6 in Arlington. Okay, that's right.
But I mean, hey, 8 days isn't bad to prepare for them. So if everything falls our way, we're going to get into that here in just a little bit. We gotta finish putting a ball on this game. Derek Eusebio, the former walk-on, got put on scholarship this year, had another strong game.
Mm-hmm.
I think him and Jeff Sims have got a nice rapport going. They've been definitely in sync, and he's been looking for Derek, especially on money downs, to help move the chains. And it was good to see him get a touchdown in this game on that screen pass. And then Raleek Brown running the old Texas route, the old arrow route, over the middle and catching that touchdown right before the half was huge. Not a great game running the ball, only 14 carries for 53 yards, but he still found a way to be useful there in the passing game with that receiving touchdown. We talked about Shimon Mateer. His touchdown was definitely huge. Some nice games from some of these guys. I mean, would have liked to have seen, Malik McClain, Jalen Moss get a few more. They were certainly involved in the passing game, but that's the way things go at this point. I mean, Moss still a solid game, 3 catches, 41 yards.
Right.
That nice 25-yard reception. So he's been pretty good for one big play game. I'd like to see that continue. Him get a little bit more consistent. He did have that one bad drop there along the sideline.
Along the side, yeah. He wanted that one back. You could tell he was really frustrated. He's clapping his hands.
And McClain had that one where the safety came over the top and just kind of messed with his eye line a little bit, and he wasn't able to pull that ball in right by the. But that was a beautiful throw by Sims, because it was right in the breadbasket, and just the safety kind of came over. He didn't even touch the ball, just kind of distracted McClain enough to where he couldn't come up with it. But good game for the ASU defense. This was a West Virginia team that really relied on their running game, especially from their quarterback, and they did a good job at the line of scrimmage, making them very one-dimensional. They got off the field on 3rd down. Yeah, they allowed those two big plays accounted for 160 yards of almost 170 yards of that total offense. So you take those away, this is a tremendous performance from this defense. Those getting 3 sacks is certainly huge. And then Miles Rouser just seemed to flash every time he was making a play. It seemed like a big play at the time.
Yeah.
And
he was really good to see.
I know he had that targeting penalty against Houston that took him out of the first half of the Iowa State game, but ever since then, it seemed like he's been a man on a mission. He's been playing like just like a whole different player who's like uber focused out there, just trying to go out there and just make plays every chance he gets. And
I love it.
Noticeable.
Yeah, he's been great. Rouser's been coming up very timely, and he's definitely is he's still an underclassman, right? He's still very vocal out there as a leader.
And Watley continues his level of play. He was
oh my gosh,
he was my player of the week last week after the game, after the Iowa State win. He just continues to play at a high level. I mean, did you see him just bull rush that tight end? That guy had no chance against him.
He threw a little rip. He threw a little rip underneath him, and he was around him. He got Once he got that shoulder past me, it's over. But yeah, he's our biggest DN, but he can he's a load, man, when he
Mm-hmm.
comes up.
Oh
And
yeah, I've been a fan of him since he set foot on campus. He just hasn't been the most consistent player. For whatever reason,
well,
in these last few games, he's suddenly got a lot more consistent, and it's showing. It really is, and it's starting to translate into sacks and big plays out there. So yeah, it's been tremendous. And then Keyshawn Elliott making another play out in open space on a guy in Scotty Fox Jr. who's dangerous in open space.
Oh yeah.
Keyshawn got him to the ground. Anthony Cooper with another nice play.
The old man.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. It's good to see different guys get involved. That's the big thing for me. It's not the same, 3 or 4 guys every week.
Right.
It's different guys going out there and making plays on a consistent basis. That's, it's been really good to see. Boogie Wilson had another. He wasn't great in coverage at times. There were a couple plays that he missed, but he still played a solid game, I think. Montana Warren had that big pass breakup.
Yeah.
That was a huge play
as
well. So shout out to Rodney Bimmage too. That guy's a warrior, coming up with that play on 3rd down that he made and then getting knocked out. Oh man, when that cart came on the field, I mean, that you could hear a pin drop in that stadium. It's so quiet. Thankfully, he's going to be okay. Just had a bad stinger that's going to keep him out this week. But props to big number 0 on the D, coming up with a big play and being a warrior out there. And I fully expect him back for the U of A game because we're probably gonna need him in that game.
I gotta get a question for you. Why would you throw to Abney's side? I mean.
Yes, thank you. That was when I was rewatching the game. I was like, why do they keep going at him? There is a reason why. There's a reason why he hasn't made a lot of plays this year because they stay away from him. He shuts down about half the field, just about most of the time. Yeah, he had that. I don't know if they saw something on film because he gave up that big gain on the double move down the sideline, but that was literally it. I mean, that was really the only big play that he gave up the whole game.
He's gone from number 3 to number 1 in the country in terms of statistically at his position.
Yeah, he grades out like the best corner in the Big 12 by Pro Football Focus every single week.
That's right.
And it's just like, I mean, he's playing himself into a high draft position.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, the guy's he's gone out there and just balled out. And I want to get into his game here in just a little bit. We're going to talk about Keith Abney a little bit more. But yeah, that was a strange game plan trying to go at him. I mean, I know that the rushing game wasn't working. Yeah, and most people have been picking on Javen Robinson or Rodney Bimmage most of the year.
Right.
But yeah, they were trying to go at Abney's side. It was like they were trying to force the ball a little bit too much, and he was, especially was it twice on 4th down on the 4th and goal? They tried to go to his side, and it was the 1 4th and goal because they ran the other one. They ran the ball on the other one and got stopped short of the goal line. But that first 4th down stop, you're trying to throw to his side. It's just I don't understand that. But I mean, Scotty Fox did have a good game again. Though those 2 plays for about 170 yards made up a majority of it. But he still played a decent game. Yeah. But the big Rich Rod 0-4 in Tempe now, and 2-5 against the Sun Devils overall.
2-5 over a lifetime. Yeah.
I love it.
And I was talking to one of their West Virginia alum today who thought he says, "Oh, Scotty Fox will be gone next year. He'll go get some money someplace." Because I guess West Virginia doesn't have a lot of money to spread around.
Yeah, that's not surprising, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, anytime any guy flashes in this conference, we're kind of us and to a lesser extent the ACC are kind of feeder programs for the Big Ten and the SEC. It feels like at times.
Mm-hmm. We're certainly looked down upon, but it's nice to see, good athletes.
It is the power 4, not the power 2.
That's right.
Just saying.
Yeah. So anyway, that brings us up to Players of the Week, and we've kind of.
Yes, our Players of the Week presented by the Valley Athletic Booster Club to support local athletics. Definitely check out valleyathleticboosterclub.com. And for me, gotta go once again. Jeff Sims, the quarterback, the guy, the top spot, the guy under center, and that he was definitely that guy this week with another strong game. Like I said, 3 passing touchdowns. He was a force on the ground as well. 17 carries for 81 yards. The guy just continues to be a force out there. I mean, he has 5 yards a carry. He averaged. He did a tremendous job out there. Not turning the ball over, hung on to the ball too. No fumbles this week. I think he had one. I think he might have had one during an exchange that he got back.
He jumped behind and got it. Yes.
Yeah, that was the only one.
Well, that's a miscue on miscommunication on the handoff.
That was the only one. And then we talked about Keith Abney's game before, but another strong game from him. 4 tackles, that interception that sealed the game, a couple pass defense, and a forced fumble. And man, he just goes out there and just continues to make plays week in and week out. And I mean, he's fun to watch. He's definitely become one of my favorite players on this defense with his play. And
he's so smart.
He's a shutdown corner.
He's so intelligent too, so smart. You heard his comment that he locked in on the quarterback's eyes. The quarterback looked directly at him, and he did to him, and he kind of looked at like, I got you.
Just one more thing. The Devils actually swept the conference awards this week. Jeff Sims was Offensive Player of the Week. Jordan Crook was Defensive Player of the Week, and Jesus Gomez was Special Teams Player of the Week.
That's huge. Yeah.
Yep. So John, who are your Players of the Week?
Well, you can't deny Sims. I mean, when you're almost 70%, to me, which is a kind of I always look in my head. 70% is like the that's another.
And the rushing yards could have been more too, because there were times when the outside was open when he like on a run on the read option when he handed the ball off to Raleek Brown. He should have kept it, and there was nothing but open space to the outside.
I agree.
So I know that they're trying to protect him a little bit. And those fumbles against Iowa State were a problem. They're trying to avoid that. But I mean, if the field's open to the other side, take it, go for it.
Yeah, he wasn't nearly as dirty, as he was the Iowa State game. Neither did he carry the ball as much. But I like the fact that
there was less rain in Tempe than there was in Iowa State.
But I like the balance is what I'm getting at, and I think that's going to serve us well going forward. And then Crook was a monster again. 10 solos, 14 tackles total, a half a TFL tackle for loss. Excuse me, and again, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. So that's my guy. I mean, he's just having a really great year. We got
great to watch. Yeah.
Well, the whole linebacking crew, like I say, is just playing. I've been saying it all year. How's instinctual. Even Romney made a couple of great, nice plays in there this week, and that's great to have him playing it. He's improving since he had a little injury.
And Martell Hughes as well has been playing pretty well too. And so those are our Players of the Week presented by Valley Athletic Booster Club. To support local athletics, check out valleyathleticboosterclub.com, as we do every week after a win here on RWD. We'll give you our Players of the Week, and these guys are certainly deserving after that performance. So this leads us into our Big 12 week in review, and we were keeping an eye. With the early game, we had a chance to watch some of the other Big 12 teams in action. But they didn't last very long, that's for sure. BYU, Utah, Texas Tech, all winning big, and really just no doubter games, which really weren't much of a surprise given who they were playing. I thought Baylor might give Utah a little bit more of a run for their money, but Utah just too much firepower, and they pulled away there at the end. And then the other big game, as we were watching this at the tailgate, this game actually started before the ASU game.
Right.
The Wildcats, wake up early and beat Cincinnati on the road. That game coming up here in a couple weeks is looming very large. That's going to be a good game, I think. And then this was kind of dominating the news cycle around here yesterday with Sam Levitt potentially going into the portal. That again, these are just rumors, nothing for sure. His camp is denying everything. Of course, his brother and his dad both came out and said, there's no decisions been made. There's nothing
And that's the
firm. I mean, Kenny Dillingham would barely acknowledge it at his
yeah. But
media
let's start.
time.
I don't know if you guys study On3, who is I don't know they give you information on recruiting on a regular basis, and then they do their own valuations of what somebody's worth in the NIL market. And to me, those valuations are always hyperinflated.
Mm.
They're not nearly as respected, I think, as rivals in 247 when it comes to recruiting. But they were the ones that reported it, and there was a text that went out or a tweet that went out, and Dallin, who is Sam's brother, came out and said, "Why would you say that? It's not true." And then but Dallin made, I think, the non-denial denial when he said he hasn't made up his mind what he wants to do. There's probably a better way to have said that if he truly, and there's a more diplomatic way to say that, or to flat out lie and say he's not going anywhere. But it kind of got everybody thinking, okay, he's left the door open here. He's by not saying he's not going anywhere. It said he hasn't made up his mind what he wants to do. So
Yeah.
so
and then there were some unfounded rumors about him,
yeah.
with James Franklin going to Vodtech that they're going to throw a lot of money his way.
Remember, the portal doesn't even open until January,
Right.
January 2nd, I believe it is. And to be talking to a kid right now about it, that's tampering. So a lot of that's just
not the legal kind either.
Yes, that's a lot of that's just silly talk. And you're right. Kenny has no option just other than to say, we got to be focused on what's in front of us. We can't worry about that kind of stuff. And really, I respect the fact that Sam may have options, but quite frankly, I've always felt, this has been my take since last year, that his equity is directly tied to the success of this program and Kenny. To go to a new program, yeah, you might get more money, but to start all over, learn a new program, about the maybe if they were to develop you further into being for the pros, which he desperately needs. But I don't, Ryan, I'm old school. I don't understand how. And I know it's transactional, and you can make more money playing college than probably you can make playing your first couple of years in pro, and maybe that's what's driving all this. But at one time Sam said he has all the money he needs, he's fine. That was never a consideration. But to think about leaving a program after you haven't completed a year and you've been hurt, and it was not to the success level everyone thought you should have, or even yourself. What entitles you to go out and look for more money when you haven't really fulfilled the contract with the fans or the university at that point? I don't know. It's vexing. Maybe I'm just really old.
That's kind of the mercenary mentality that a lot of guys have taken, and I mean, those are not really the kind of guys Kenny Dillingham wants in his program to begin with. But things change. Well, nothing, of course, is founded. A lot of this is just pure speculation and rumors. We don't have anything tying this together at all. Again, and that's the thing that kind of stuck with me, is the fact that this may not be just about the money if he does transfer, because his family's not hurting. It's not like he needs to go out there and be the sole breadwinner like a lot of players do at this point in their careers. He doesn't really need the money. He can do what's right for him.
Yeah.
And, I think that's the question that you got to ask yourself: is ASU still right for you, for what you want to do, where you want to go, what you want to accomplish? And that's the big question, I think, that he's got to ask himself between now and January. And that's what will ultimately determine where he ends up, because he should not go to the league now. There was a lot of talk about him going to the league now. Even with his injury, I don't even know if he'd be a third-round pick at this point.
No,
that's.
Yeah, I mean, you go in there with a sort of he's prone to getting hurt label. But to me, the thing if I'm a pro, I look at that wobbly ball he throws, and one, and two, the fact that he delivers a lot of balls at 3/4, not over the top, with the pros like it. So there's work to be done there on his ball. Not let alone reading the defenses. There's another whole issue. But to me, if you want to live in this town, which a lot of pro ball players have figured out, this is a place to come when they retire. If you want to be having people taking your picture 40, 50 years after you played here, you stay here, right? And there's been, and I thought Juan Roque posted something, and then I reposted it on Sun Devil Nation today, and it was a phenomenal treatise on why you want to stay. So
I read it. Yeah, very well written, very well said. And now, as we head into the final couple weeks of the college football regular season, this is this is a big question. What does ASU need to do to get back to Arlington and play for that Big 12 championship? They got these 2 games remaining, but they are going to need, well, Texas Tech right now looks like they're in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny, and it's very unlikely that they're going to lose another game with the schedule that they have left. I mean, I think they play UCF the last game. They're just, it's just one of those things where they're so good right now, and to expect them to lose, even though ASU owns the tiebreaker, I don't know if that's very realistic. Yeah, that's right. Texas Tech plays West Virginia this week, and then UCF in the finale.
I didn't include that.
And then the U of A win actually helped ASU, because since they were chasing Cincinnati, now ASU and Cincinnati have the same record. Utah is, of course, they have the same conference record, but they own the tiebreaker over us. So we would need them to lose again. They're playing both the Kansas schools, so I don't know if that's gonna happen either. So a lot of things got to break their way. And ASU. Well, I thought ASU owned the tiebreaker over Cincinnati for some reason.
It is. It's the third tiebreaker of common opponents and the next common opponent. So Texas Tech beat UCF last week, 48-9. This is their last game they're coming up on, which is Texas. Well, they have a bye this week. They're in a bye, and it's their next game is at West Virginia. So excuse me. That's it. That's all they have is West Virginia left. So they win. They're the champion, but we're playing for second, and we need these things, other things to happen. Cincinnati and Utah to lose again. It's entirely possible still. But we
need BYU to lose again is the thing, because they're 6-1 right now in the conference. So BYU wins out. I mean, they got Cincinnati.
Right. And that's right. I didn't put that in here.
Yeah. But they control their own destiny right now as well. And they got Cincinnati this week, and then I think they play. Yeah, they're the ones who play UCF. That's the finale. Correct. That's what I was thinking.
They got 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because UCF had a couple bad games to end the season, and it's gonna be tough. It really is. It's it's just I don't know if it's gonna break their way. That's why I said the Houston game kind of stuck with me, as far as what could have been. That's a game I feel like ASU should have had. They just get off to that terrible start, and they go scoreless for 3 quarters, and then just not too much ground to make up in a short period of time.
Yeah, we were surging, but didn't have enough time in that game. Needed another quarter. It was all starting to work.
And we are going to need BYU to lose one more game, but if they lose, we do have the tiebreaker over them. Yeah. So,
and folks, you can go see these tiebreakers. There's actually 6 levels of it, but
the Big 12 set up a kind of a championship game watch page to kind of keep track of what's going on.
That's a private guy who did it. It's with all the math. You click on the teams you want, and it shows you the path. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I should have put that link up there, but
there's 16 of the 16 teams in the Big 12. There's 6 that are still mathematically able to make it, and we're one of them. So
we're 19. We're 19%.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well.
So get on your knees and pray, because it's going to take a miracle or two for us to get there. But hey, stranger things have happened in the world of college football. So we will certainly keep an eye on that coming up this weekend as the Devils travel to Boulder, their final true road contest of this year, against a Colorado Buffalo team that they were 9-4 last year. They were a fairly good team. They actually played another conference team, BYU, in the Alamo Bowl. Don't see that too often.
No.
And Deion is he's battled some health issues. I don't know that, and moving on from their now Hall of Fame quarterback and Heisman Trophy two-way player.
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, they're in the ring. Yeah, they retired their numbers after they just left. Oh, ridiculous! But he did sign that big extension in the spring, and they've been reeling quite a bit this year. They've kind of been playing musical chairs at quarterback. They've had four different guys start at one point or another this year, or play at one point or another this year. It was three different guys start.
They're on their third.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just been kind of a rough go for them this year, especially with but we kind of expected that with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders both moving on. We weren't sure how they were going to replace those guys. They have not been able to beyond a few players here and there have sustained success. And as we move in here on them, I mentioned their game, their bowl game last year. But yeah, that was last year was their first top 25 finish since they went to the Pac-12 championship game in 2016. And they've been in games this year, though. They've lost 3 games by 7 points or less. They won a game by 7 points as well. And this is kind of a strange year because usually Colorado has always been counted on in their non-conference to play their rivals, Colorado State and Nebraska, and they didn't play either one of them this year.
With realignment, has done a lot of that. Screwed up a lot of the contracts too.
But that was just kind of something that stuck out to me because they played Georgia Tech in a very highly publicized game. Start the season, lost that game, and then they played their conference opener a week early at Houston, and then their final non-conference game the next week against Wyoming.
Right.
So that's just it's kind of a weird situation all the way around for them. Right. They bring in Caden Salter, the Liberty quarterback, who they expected to kind of take over the offense. And he put up some good numbers at times, but he threw some interceptions. He wasn't, very consistent. And then they turned to Ryan Staub. He, again, very inconsistent. Didn't put up the best numbers. He threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns, to be honest. And now they're looking at the former 5-star true freshman, Julian Juju Lewis. And this will be his third career start. He's gone out there. He's played fairly well. Hasn't turned the ball over, I think, which is one thing that they were looking for. He went up against U of A at home in his first start and lost pretty big. And then they had that really close game against West Virginia 2 weeks ago in Morgantown. And they were on a bye this past week. So it's been kind of a rough go for the Buffs all the way around this year, and the quarterback situation has been a big reason why.
I'm looking
we got to look at this kid. We got to look at this kid. I mean, he played at one of the best high school programs in the country at Carrollton in Georgia. So, he's got the pedigree. He certainly looks the part. He was a very highly recruited player. So, hopefully we'll see what he's about.
But we know he's got legs. It really hasn't been. They haven't used him that much in.
He's got negative 31 yards net this year. Yep. I mean, he's only rushed 15 times through. He's played in like 4 games. He's only started 2. But they haven't really asked him to run very much. His longest run of the year was 15 yards. So I mean, they had Caden Salter running a lot more, and Caden was actually putting up good numbers on the ground. He had 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. They're
Mm-hmm.
just taking a different approach with Juju Lewis. I think they just want to protect him, keep him healthy, and try and maximize his arm as much as they can.
Yeah.
Their rushing attack hasn't been particularly great either. Micah Welch has kind of been the lead back in this offense. I mean, he's only averaging he's averaging about 4 yards a carry, a couple touchdowns on the season, off of 313 yards. They don't throw the ball to their running backs a whole lot. Declan Taylor is the only running back with double-digit catches,
Right.
And he's like kind of their third down back. He hasn't even broken 100 rushing yards. That's why I didn't even include him here on their offense. Their strength has kind of been their receivers. Omarion Miller has been a very bright spot for them this year. 7 receiving touchdowns, 650 yards. Even with the musical chairs they've been playing at quarterback, he's still found a way to be productive. Joseph Williams has been a nice complement player. He's got 4 touchdowns on the season. Sincere Brown, very good in the slot. He's caught some balls this year, put up some numbers. A big reason why they've struggled too has been their offensive line. They've given up 31 sacks so far this year.
And a lot of
3 a game on average.
You were telling me in the pre-show about the turnover on that offensive line. They had 10 guys.
They had so many guys. Well, they had a lot of guys transfer at a lot of positions. That's been the thing with Colorado. Deion's just like never satisfied. He's always bringing in guys, telling guys they don't really have a place in the program. See Jordan Tyson, and it's been a very mercenary situation there, and it's been hard for guys to gel, hard for guys to settle in when you may not have a job next year because the coach, saw somebody else on film that he likes and he wants to bring in over you. And, it's been a problem, especially along the offensive line. And there's a reason they're giving up the sacks that they are, and they've struggled to run the ball with consistency. And, but one bright spot's been Jordan Seaton, one of their starting tackles, but he's questionable with an undisclosed injury for this game. They expect him to play, but he may not be at 100%. So something to keep an eye on there.
Remind me we'll talk about our player who's potentially who's working out this week. Jordan Tyson is working out. And He's running. It comes down to can he run at 100% or not?
Yeah, and they put him at about 85 to 90%.
Yeah.
So far, it's just is that good enough for him to play? I think has been the big key.
I will just we hadn't scripted any of this, but we'll get into it in a minute into keys of the game. But for me, and if with a muscle, especially a torn hamstring, if you're not at 100%, I don't know why you play. I think you've given yourself that one more week. If he's at 85, and with the progress he's been making, maybe you save him and make sure he's right.
And they can also put him on a snap count too.
Yes, yeah.
He could dress and just go out there and play maybe 20, 30 snaps, and just contribute where he can.
Yeah, and they run the kind of routes that would be easier on him too.
I know he'd like to go out there and take it, stick it to his old team in Boulder. So
yeah, I thought about that because he really did. He beat us on special teams and one really good receiving play while he was there, but. He is a completely different player physically than he was then. He's really done the work on the weight room. And let's not minimize the fact he had Hines Ward coaching him. Deion did not have a Hines Ward level coach to coach him up here too.
Right.
So what a great opportunity he's made the most of it here. So he's an underclassman, but I still fully expect he will go into the draft just because of his. I don't know.
A lot of places are projecting him to be a first-round pick, and I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be at this point.
But don't you think that he could have a little check by his name saying he's fragile? Would you think that
I mean,
fragility.
there is some concern there, but I mean that's true for a lot of guys. I mean,
Well,
I can see it, but I don't think that takes him any further than the second round.
yeah, I don't think having a broken bone like a collarbone counts as being fragile. I
No,
think I think having your knee destroyed and losing all three ligaments and having a hamstring might qualify in some people's book, but it's not chronic. The kid is bull strong. He's really developed a night, and he's put on all this weight, and he's gotten faster.
oh
This
yeah,
tells you he's got a lot of
totally. I mean, yeah, you look at
the
his
fast twitch.
just from a speed standpoint,
Yeah,
how fast he is, and yeah, it's definitely
his twitch.
pro quality.
Yeah.
So
I think if at worst he's gone from the first receiver at some point to maybe the fourth receiver taken
I
in the
don't know.
industry.
Those Ohio State kids
Oh,
they look
that's
legit.
I
So
I think from week two I started I felt felt that.
yeah.
Um,
As we move on here to Colorado's defense, they've given up some numbers this year. They've given up over 400 yards of total offense and 30 points a game. And a big problem has been their rush defense, which is giving up an average of 211 yards on the ground. Now that number is a little bit skewered because they had a really bad performance against Utah, giving up over 420 yards on the ground.
on the ground.
Yeah, just on the ground, right? They barely threw the ball because they
Yeah,
didn't really have to with as good as they were moving the ball on the ground. And this is a defense that again had some turnover. Some guys took off, and they brought in some guys, and yeah, there hasn't been a lot of continuity, and there's just no cohesion, and it's been hard to watch at times for them, especially they get blown out by U of A 52-17. They get that Utah game they got absolutely destroyed
right.
53-7. I mean there's been games where they've got kind of there's been some close games, but there's also been games where they kind of let it get away from them, and being unable to stop the run, that can happen. So, again, 211 rushing yards a game. But they are led by linebacker Jeremiah Brown, who's really filled up the stat sheet well this year with a couple sacks, 61 total tackles, 7 for loss. Tafik Bayard, this kid is everywhere.
Yeah.
He's really filled out that stat sheet with 72 tackles, 5 for loss, a half a sack, 4 pass defense, and an interception. The other safety, Carter Stoutmeyer, he's had 5 pass defense this year, so he's been all over the field as well. I believe he's the deep safety, and Bayard is the strong safety who plays closer to the line.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, and they really lean on their secondary. They're leading. They don't have the best pass rush. Their leading sack guys have, I think, they're tied. There's 2 of them who are tied for 2.5,
right.
And then Jeremiah Brown has 2 on the year as well. So yeah, they've really struggled on defense as well. I mean, the secondary's been solid. Preston Hodge and DJ McKinney at the cornerback spots have played well in stretches at times. I mean, Preston Hodge, 12 pass defense this year. I think that's one of the highest in the entire conference.
It's a lot of balls deflected.
And then I mentioned their pass rushers Keaton Wade and Arden Walker tied for the team lead with 2.5 each. Wade's got 7 tackles for loss as well. So I mean, they've made some plays at times. They've been able to win a couple. The game that they had a big win against Iowa State. Back on about a month ago, and they've lost 3 since then. But they just haven't been able to hang with a lot of people. But they played a lot of teams close. They played BYU close. They only lost by 3 to them. That Georgia Tech game in the opener looked like Colorado was going to be a good team this year. They only lost to Tech by 7, and Tech's ranked now. They're one of the better teams in the ACC. And then they just they get let those 2 games earlier this month, or in the last couple weeks, get away from them in Utah and Arizona.
Right.
It's just been kind of a roller coaster for this team all year. I mean, I get it; it's tough to replace guys like Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, But
two-way player, yeah.
yeah, but they shouldn't make that quite that much of a difference off a 9-win team. You would think. I mean, they technically tied for first in the Big 12 last year. They just lost the tiebreakers to Iowa State and
ASU
last
Yep.
year. So,
At least they didn't put up a phony conference flag like BYU did, a conference championship flag. I'll
oh
never.
brother,
Well,
yeah, we
that,
won't pull at that thread because
that's
we'll be here all night going into some of the
well
things I
because
could say.
I'll get comments tomorrow. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, this defense has really struggled at times this year. So certainly some ASU can take advantage of, if nothing else. I'd like to see them break that 30-point mark.
I would too.
That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'd really like to see them because that's something that they haven't done since the Texas State game. I'd really like to see ASU kind of hit that mark and maybe put a team away by multiple scores for once this year. But these are keys to the game presented by Sleep in Heavenly Peace, a great nonprofit that builds beds for families in need. Please support Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And for me, bully the Buffs. You got to own that line of scrimmage, just like you did against Iowa State. Establish the run game early.
Right.
And on defense, make Colorado's offense one-dimensional. Don't let them get into any kind of groove on the ground. They've been relying very much on their passing game. Let them continue to do that because this offensive line has struggled. You can pin your ears back and come after that freshman quarterback with a vengeance. And hopefully, he hasn't thrown any interceptions this year. This will be a good game for his first. And if that feeds into my next point, Omarion Miller is the best offensive weapon on this team.
Right.
At least he has been to this point in the season. Put Keith Abney on that kid and just have him follow wherever he goes, wherever he lines up. I don't care if it's the boundary, the field side, whatever, wherever he goes. If it's in the slot, put Keith Abney on that kid and don't let him get away. Shade coverage to his side because they're going to be looking to feed him the ball. Make another wide receiver beat you in the passing game. That's going to, I think if you do that, it's going to be tough for Colorado to consistently move the ball. And then, another point, Jolt Juju, put pressure on this kid. Blitz him all night because, he's put up some numbers. He's played pretty well. He's got the pedigree. He's he's certainly a good player on paper. And don't let him get into any kind of groove and put up some kind of career-defining game against you. Because this is a game I feel like ASU really needs to get after it and put together a 4-quarter game. They've been talking about doing that all season long, and they really haven't done it yet. And I feel like this is a game. You have a team that's kind of down. They haven't been playing their best of late. They're on a 3-game losing streak. They're not going to a bowl game, not playing for much. Go out there and just take it to them. Put it on them early and often. And don't let them have something they can hang their hat on when the season's over.
They go to their banquet and they show our game.
Exactly.
So now what's interesting, Ryan. When it comes to this, I put the slides together. I just put this up. I didn't even read your stuff because I have my stuff and. I've been breaking it down: offense, defense, special teams. I just put up offense and defense, but on offense, we're going to have to maximize the fact that we have a real dual threat quarterback, and then attack their second. I call it layered passing, where you're throwing underneath, in the seams a lot of times, but underneath the coverage.
Continue to look for McLean downfield. Yeah,
that's right.
Sims does not throw the best deep ball. No one's arguing that, but maybe just once or twice a game, just kind of stretch out the defense a little bit and take a shot.
Well, if you can get
the worst thing.
Yeah. What I did like in this last game is that we scored 2 touchdowns kind of down inside the 25, which we haven't been able to do. So that was the third big thing.
The red zone offense, right? Exactly.
Yeah, we got better. So we got better in the penalties. We got better in that, and so there's a lot of good stuff happening in terms of improvement on this team. We got obviously control the clock. We both believe in controlling the clock, but I call it balanced tempo. You want to use short passes as an extension of the run game. On defense, Yeah, you got to get to that quarterback early and often. Don't let him. He thrives if you give him time. He connects. And then Miller, their best receiver, you want to spy him with a safety. So I agree. You want to put Abney on him. Then win the third down and red zone battles. Put pressure, force third and longs. Start fast. Get that crowd quiet because they're right on top of you. As the closest stadium to the field of anybody. But stay disciplined like we have. Avoid the penalties and turnovers. They thrive on momentum swings. So keep all that in mind as you're managing your game. So
Right.
those are mine. And I think I'm really in agreement in a lot of places. I didn't even read your thing about spying Miller with Abney, but that's the perfect strategy, I believe.
Yeah, to
So
limit their offense, definitely. And then
exactly.
one more thing I'd really like to see out of this game. I'd really like to see ASU score a first quarter touchdown.
Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
haven't done that since they
Well,
haven't done that all year. They haven't done that since NAU.
yeah, there it is.
It doesn't have to be on the first drive necessarily, but go out there and just start right. Get off to the right on a right foot and put Colorado behind early, and they'll fold. I mean, you get them in a
Well,
hole early, they will fold.
remember what was going on in this last game. They were uh, they were in zone to begin with in the first half, and we kind of picked that apart a little bit. It was the second half where they went to a man-to-man, and it got a
Yeah.
little weird. It was the adjustment between the
Well,
two.
yeah,
I
we
thought
didn't we didn't adjust enough to that. Yeah, that was a
yeah,
problem.
yeah, but we did have the 22 points in just because we took it. And as I said last week, we had to give we go with what they gave us, right? So in other words, we weren't committing to beating them on the QB +1 run like we were at Iowa State. This was a completely different game plan, and it was still a good game plan. And
Well,
and
yeah,
they
they had that scouted.
yeah, but
But
they
yeah,
made they made a good adjustment, and we adjusted to their adjustments is what I'm saying.
yeah.
Um, so it was a
But
good.
this is certainly one of the weaker defenses I feel like in Colorado in the Big 12.
Oh yeah, I think this is
That
a
especially with the running numbers that they've given up this year, you should be able to take advantage, blow some people off the ball, go into some multi tight end
mhm,
sets.
mhm,
Use an H back or fullback as a
yeah.
lead blocker and
Well,
just get
so
downhill on these guys, push them off the ball, and
so
just
two,
churn up the clock and churn up the field on the ground. And I feel like if you do that, there's no reason you can't escape with a win.
so you think we'll be in two tight ends a lot in this game?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Mateer and Mari Anderson are such good block, and
Right,
Harpole too. I
right,
should
right.
say are such good blockers. I mean, why not just go out there and just beat the guy across from you.
Well,
Just put a hat on a hat and
well,
let Sims and Raleek Brown just
create
tear
the
it up.
yeah,
And hey, Kanye Udo got a little run against West
yeah.
Virginia. This might be a good time to up his workload a little bit too.
Hmm,
Just somebody to kind of get a little physical with this team that's really struggled to stop the run this year
right,
consistently.
right, right. Same
So
thing with and maybe man too could have a could
yeah,
have a
yeah,
could
he
have a
got
few
he got a
touches.
carry against West Virginia too.
Right.
But yeah, those are keys to the game presented by Sleep and Heavenly Peace. And our score predictions. I think this is a game ASU will finally crack that 30 point ceiling. And I'd like to see them win by multiple scores too. I don't think that's too much to ask against this kind of team. I got them winning 31-20, and I think they will make the over on the 48.5.
Mm. Yeah, I still think getting to 28 will still be. I'll be thrilled if we get over it, but I still
Yeah.
see it. I still see it as a winning by a touchdown, and so we'll meet the spread. And not that I really care that much about spread. I
Well,
care. I care really more about not doing dumb stuff.
well,
Letting
I'm sure we got a couple gamblers out there watching our show.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, and guys, we've been remarkably close. Last week we were both with both 3 or 4 points. We were really close. The week before I nailed it. We've come really really close all season because I think we know this team and we know what they're capable of. And
well, hey, we watch them and keep up with them enough. I mean,
well, and it's not just tendency, like, but clearly, its defense has been carrying this squad or this
sure.
this year, And I fully expect that. I think keeping them in the 20, that's about their average or maybe. So, yeah, I'm still seeing.
That's what the defense is certainly showing itself capable of that. Yeah, they've given up some points here and there, but I mean, they really haven't allowed other teams to go over 30 points too many times.
Correct.
So, yep. So that'll do it for us here on RWD. Certainly tune in on Saturday when the Devils take on the Buffs at 6 p.m. In Boulder. It should be a good game. I'd be interested to watch that Juju Lewis, see what he's about. But I would like to see the Devils kind of, lay the hammer down on him and put him away early. So that'll do it for us. We thank you for tuning in, as always, here on RWD. We'll be back next week. Next week's the big show. Great week. Those little kitties down south, we're definitely going to have plenty to say about them. So, say good night. Go Devils. Pork sub. Roast Ralphie.
Some buffalo burgers.